So thank you so much for coming to the Smeal Career Prep presentation for Penn State Altoona campus freshmen and sophomores. So I really hope that this session is helpful for you in one way or another. There's a lot of information and I tend to talk quickly. So if you need me to slow down at all, please let me know in the chat. If you have any questions, definitely put those in the chat as well. I figure that's the best way, but if you're comfortable also unmuting yourself, you're welcome to do that and ask questions. But we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so first things first, before actually getting into the information itself, I just wanted to introduce myself so you know who is talking to you and just kind of what background I have to be able to give you this information. So my name is Maria Walls, and I am the Change of Campus Program Coordinator in the Smeal Business Career Center in the Smeal College of Business at Penn State University Park. So my specific role is focused in helping business tracking students transition to the Smeal College of Business with everything career prep related. So anything and everything you need to talk to somebody about related to your career, you're more than welcome to reach out to me for that. So that being said, there's a few ways to contact me and just get a hold of me, generally speaking. First is over email. If you want to take a picture or a screenshot of this page, you can save my email. You could also find it, of course, in the email that I sent you about this program. You can find it on our website. You can basically find it anywhere. So if you ever have quick questions, ever have, the need to talk to somebody about something that's a little bit brief, I would say feel free to email me anytime. If you ever want to talk about something further that requires more of a conversation, or maybe need somebody to look over, resume, a cover letter, etc., I'd love to meet with you over an appointment. I do meet with Commonwealth campus students over Zoom virtually. I'm really meeting with everyone virtually over Zoom, whether you're a Commonwealth campus student or a University Park student, just being that, we're all working from home, excuse me, during the pandemic. And then in the future, when the pandemic is hopefully under control and you also transition to University Park, I'm also able to meet in in-person appointments. And then lastly, we will be having drop-in appointments today. So after the presentation, if you find yourself, wanting to ask some immediate questions or clarify any information, you're welcome to come to the drop-in hours link. You didn't need to sign up ahead of time. You can just pop in and we can chat. All right, so getting into the actual presentation itself. So there's two things that we're going to be talking about today. Number one is all of the key career resources that are really important for you to be aware of as a business student and as a Penn State student, generally speaking. And then the second thing we're going to talk about is learning how to maximize your first and second years at the Altoona campus to make sure that you're as successful as possible with everything career related when you transition to Smeal. So providing some context and explaining why this stuff is so important for you to be aware of and thinking about is, so most students transition to Smeal from the Altoona campus for their junior year. And so junior year also happens to be, arguably, I would say at least, the most important year when it comes to your career prep and getting a job after graduation, because the vast majority of juniors are looking for an internship that's the summer before their senior year that will ideally lead into a full-time job offer with that company. Or if you decide you're not looking for that, then maybe it would help you, leverage that experience and those learned skill sets into a job offer with another company. So junior year is definitely really, really important in terms of setting yourself up for a career after graduation. And during your junior year, the career search process is very much consolidated within the fall semester. That's when we have our biggest career fairs. That's when most of the majors are hiring for positions. And it all starts really as early as the first or second week of classes. So being that, you would be transitioning to University Park, transitioning to Smeal, learning all of the new information about classes, trying to figure out where to go for classes, getting adjusted to new housing, learning about this new campus and new place. I just want you to have this information about the career prep so that you at least have one less thing to worry about during that stressful time. Because like I said, junior year career search starts really early. So trying to learn this all at once is definitely not the way to go. So giving you all of this information to hopefully set you up for success. All right, so starting out, we're going to talk about some key career resources, both at the Altoona campus and at the University Park campus, that are critical for you to know and access. All right, so first and foremost, at the Altoona campus, you have the Career Services Office. So here's the contact information. Here's where it's located, the URL if you're interested in that. Again, you can take a screenshot, take a photo. If you haven't utilized the Career Services Office at the Altoona campus yet, I definitely recommend that you do so. There's, so many resources that office has. The staff is wonderful. They're willing to help you in whatever capacity you need. And the nice thing about the Altoona Career Services Office is that they are so knowledgeable about what's available for you on campus as a student to build up your resume. If you're looking for any, jobs or opportunities in the local community, they have the best information for that. So I can't emphasize enough, at least once during your freshman and sophomore years, I would just go make an appointment, give them an email, call them up and get that good applicable career advice as a freshman or a sophomore. All right, so moving into University Park career resources. So at the UP campus, there's 2 career offices that are applicable to you and that are available to help you in different capacities. So the first is the Business Career Center. So this is the office that I work in, like I mentioned. And the nice thing about the Business Career Center is that it's specific to Penn State Smeal students. That being said, every single resource that's available within the Business Career Center is also available to Smeal tracking students at the Commonwealth campuses. And I advertise all of the resources and events, et cetera, to students who even might be at a Commonwealth campus and not tracking Smeal. So the moral of the story is the BCC is available to all business students at Penn State. But so the nice thing about the Business Career Center is that it's a career services office specifically catered towards business students. So all of the information that we have is within the expertise of business internships, business recruiters, business career fairs, et cetera. So if you are a business student that is for sure going towards a business field, then I recommend your first point of contact be the Business Career Center, just because, like I said, the information is so specialized. And then second, we also have Penn State Career Services. This is located in the Bank of America building on campus, and we commonly refer to it as Penn State BOA, just because it's in that building. And so Penn State BOA is available to all University Park students, regardless of major. So it has information on every single college, every single career path, different types of career fairs, internships, et cetera. So I would recommend utilizing Penn State BOA if you're maybe a student who's double majoring and your second major is outside the College of Business. Maybe you are a business major, but you're looking towards some internships and careers that traditional business majors wouldn't necessarily be interested in. So yeah, I would just say, business specialized information, BCC is definitely the place to be. And then general information relating to stuff outside of business, you definitely want to hit up Penn State BOA. Okay, so giving you some more specific information about what the BCC has to offer, I think is helpful just because, you're not at UP yet, you might not have a good idea of what we can provide you. So basically the Business Career Center operates within 3 main functions. The first is career coaching. So I think we have maybe 7 or 8 career coaches in our office. I'm one of them. And we are available to meet with students virtually and in person in one-on-one appointments. And that can be from anything from, talking about a resume, creating a cover letter, preparing for an interview, to eventually, negotiating job offers, how to ask for a higher salary. You have 2 competing job offers. Which one do you take? The moral of the story is that within the BCC, we are available to talk to you about anything and everything related to the career search process. So please feel free to utilize us in any capacity you need. And then the second umbrella within the Smeal BCC is employer connections. So I like to think of us as kind of a middle person between employers and corporate recruiters and students. So we connect students with employers through different events, through different resources. We get great information from employers that we can give to students so that they're knowledgeable about, how to interview, how to create a great resume, et cetera. So one of the best things I would say about just being a business student at Penn State is that recruiters are really, really interested in you and they're looking for you specifically over maybe other colleges or just people in general. So we try and get as many employers connected with our students as we can. And then lastly, the last umbrella within the Business Career Center is just professional development events. So we host anything from company information sessions, workshops that maybe companies put on, or workshops that our office puts on about different career topics. We host panels. We maybe have some social events that you can attend with companies, networking events. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, is we also host career fairs. So, excuse me, we typically have most of our career fairs within the Business Career Center in the fall, but we also have spring career fairs as well. So just good stuff to look out for. All right, so as an Altoona student, most of what you would be able to access within the Business Career Center in a traditional semester, when most everything is in person, most of what you'd be able to access would be online. And especially in this virtual world now, that definitely rings true for everybody. So that being said, I just wanted to point out some information on the BCC website that I think would be important for you to be utilizing as a freshman or a sophomore. So this is the website URL, careerconnections.smeal.psu.edu. If you can't find it, for some reason the link, gets messed up for you, all you got to do is type it into Google, Smeal Business Career Center, Penn State. So there's a bunch of stuff you can find on our website, but there's a few things in particular that I wanted to point out. The first, like I said, is just our events, any career topic presentations, programs, career fairs, etc. You can find them all through the events page on our website. So if I were you, honestly, I would be checking that out on a weekly basis, even as a freshman or a sophomore, and just attend whatever seems interesting to you. I think networking is one of the most important things that you should be doing as a freshman or a sophomore in order to set yourself up to get a job later. So definitely take a look at those things and go. Even if you're not sure what type of career you're interested in yet, I would definitely recommend it. The second umbrella of things that I just wanted to point out is our online resources. So we have great tips, handouts, videos for really anything and everything about the career search process. So again, resumes, cover letters, interviewing, how to prep for career fairs, career fair tips for international students. Check it out if you ever need some last minute advice that maybe can't be answered quickly enough or in an appointment. We also have great hiring statistics on our website. This, I think, is one of the most useful parts of the website because you're able to get really good information on what the hiring stats are upon graduation. So what a starting salary might be within your field, how many students in your major are typically employed upon graduation. We also have really good statistics on specific companies. So let's say you're an accounting student and you're looking for an internship at Deloitte for the summer. You can see past students that have worked at Deloitte, what locations they've interned at, who their supervisors were, how they rated satisfaction with the internship, maybe what they were paid. There's so much great anecdotal, quantitative and qualitative information in there that I would recommend just checking it out and seeing what might be applicable to you. And then lastly, with online resources, there's great information about career options for your major. So let's say, you are an accounting student, but you're not really sure what types of jobs you want to apply for. You're not really sure what type of accounting is for you. You can check out that information on our website to get a better idea. And then next, we have great information on Smeal student organizations. So we're going to talk a little bit later about Smeal student orgs and just planning your involvement. But if you're ever interested in checking out that info, you can find it on our website. And then lastly, we have a link to Nittany Line Careers, which I'm going to talk about here on the next slide. All right, so Nittany Line Careers, in my perspective, is one of the most important platforms and websites that you should be utilizing as a college student at Penn State. And the reason for that is that it has so many different resources for you in the job search process and in preparing for the job search process. So Nittany Lion Careers is basically a job platform specific for Penn State students. So the only people who have access are Penn State undergrads, Penn State graduate students, and Penn State alums. So within this platform, there's a few different things that you can be doing. The first is searching for internships and jobs and actually applying for those positions. So basically within the platform, you're able to go into the job page and you can search, anything and everything. So you could search with different filters, internship versus full-time job, certain locations. You can search based on your major, based on certain interests, companies, keywords, etc., and figure out, what's most applicable to you to apply for. And so the nice thing about Nittany Lion Careers is that the jobs that are included within the website are by companies who specifically want to hire Smeal and Penn State University Park, also Penn State Commonwealth Campus, Penn State World Campus students in general. So it doesn't have every single job available to you in every city, in every country in the world. But like I said, the jobs are specifically from companies who want to hire Penn State students. They send us positions, they send us the applications, and we're the ones who are getting them, their applicants and getting them people who are going to be employed at their company. So there's a lot of job platforms out there to search for positions, and I honestly recommend using all of them, but I always promote NLC because, again, if you know that you're applying somewhere that's looking specifically for Penn State business students, then why not use this website to apply for them. In addition to that, we also utilize the website for on-campus interview signups. That hasn't happened for quite some time. Hopefully it happens again here in the future, but just a heads up, that is the platform you'll be using to sign up for campus interviews. You can also RSVP for and find information on events through this website. So maybe you RSVP'd for this event through NLC. It's definitely useful, especially if you're signing up for some things through our website. It'll definitely redirect you to Nittany Lion Careers so you can RSVP, which is great. And then lastly, schedule a career appointment with Penn State Business Career Center or Penn State Bank of America. So if you're looking for an appointment with me in the future or anybody else within those two offices, this is the platform that you'd be utilizing. So all in all, there's really a lot going on with Nittany Lion Careers. I'd recommend that you just go in there and explore a little bit, click on the pages and familiarize yourself. If you're looking for internships this summer, then I would definitely check out Nittany Lion Careers, and hopefully you can utilize it more as you get to your junior and senior years. All right, so that is all the information, at least a high level perspective on key career resources that you need to be aware of. Like I said, definitely make a point of contact with the Altoona campus while you're still a freshman or a sophomore. But, Penn State Bank of America and of course the Penn State Business Career Center, we are both available to you currently as well. So you got 3 different points of contact for any questions that you might have. So next we are going to go into how to maximize your first and second years, just to make sure that you are as prepared as possible for that big junior year career search. So there's 5 different steps. We'll go through all of them and we should be done after that. Taking a little water break here. I talk so quickly, I need to stop every now and then and slow myself down. Okay, so step number 1, get involved at your campus and in your local community. So this is a really important piece of advice because at the end of the day, in order to get a job offer, you need to nail the interview. And in order to get to a job interview with a company, you need to have a really good resume that stands out to somebody that makes them want to learn more about you. And so in order to have that strong resume that catches somebody's attention, it needs to be full of great experiences. It needs to be full of great skill sets. It needs to have some different things going on that make you look like, you're somebody who cares about things other than academics, of course, somebody who puts their best effort into helping other people. So definitely preparing now to have a good resume for your junior and senior career searches is really important. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that on these next slides. Okay, so starting off with choosing meaningful experiences. So as a freshman and a sophomore, you're still building your resume. You're still trying to replace new stuff, um, you know, in the spaces where your high school stuff was. So you're trying to get involved and figure out, what do I need to be doing? So I would say there's a lot of things that you can keep in mind in trying to achieve this. These are definitely some examples on the screen that most students have heard of, if not engaged in. There's certainly more out there. But I would say as many of these different things on the screen as you're able to get involved in as possible is definitely a good rule of thumb. We want to have diversity in experiences on the resume. We don't just want to see somebody who only plays sports or only works, only does student organizations. You want to have a little bit of everything. That being said, though, of course, everything on this screen is not for everyone. I think when I was in college, I did study abroad. I was in student orgs. I almost always had a job, but athletics weren't for me. I wasn't doing case competitions. I wasn't able to do leadership programs, and I think I turned out okay. So ultimately, like I said, as many different things as you can get involved in to diversify your resume, the better. But by no means are you required or should you pressure yourself to get involved in everything. Just figure out what works for you and go with that. And then in addition to trying to find good, diverse experiences on your resume, you also want to make sure that you have a lot of varying skill sets. So for example, let's say you are involved somehow in all 9 bubbles on the last screen, but the only skill set you've learned from anything is planning and organization. That it's not going to get you the job offers that you're looking for because you can't necessarily bring a lot to the table. So make sure that no matter what you get involved in, there's a lot of different skills that you're focusing on building. So again, by no means are you expected to have all of these skills reflected on your resume, but as many of them as possible would be awesome. And keep in mind too, it also depends on your major. So let's say you are somebody who's looking towards finance, then leadership, communication skills, being able to work in a team, those are all things that you should definitely be focusing on. But maybe you might be, an actuarial science major. You're going to be doing all that math. So maybe you need to be detail oriented. Your analytical skills need to be strong, definitely those computer skills. So, as many different things as you can get on the resume, the better. As tailored as it can be towards your future career, even better. But moral of the story, like I said, is just try and get as many different things. All right, so next step that I have for you is make a plan to get involved at University Park. So this is something that I would probably recommend doing maybe this semester before you plan to transition, just to make sure that all of the information you're finding online is still relevant, it's still timely. But I would say if you can start out your junior year by immediately joining some clubs, maybe starting a job right off the bat, getting involved in some volunteering, then that's going to look really good on your resume when it's time for you to apply to positions. I'm confident that all of you are making an effort to get involved at the Altoona campus, and that's awesome. You definitely want to be doing those things, like I just said 20 million times. But you also want to make sure that when you transition, that your experiences don't necessarily stop and that your resume doesn't become stagnant. You want to be able to replace some of those experiences over time with current experiences that are also preparing you for the workforce. So this slide is basically just to give you some initial information about what's available to you as far as student organizations go. And that's a pretty broad word, student orgs. That could relate to club sports, that could relate to student government, it could relate to volunteering in some capacity. There's really a lot out there, but generally speaking, there's 2 different types of student organizations at University Park that I want you to be aware of. The first is general student organizations. And like I said, that includes, any athletics, volunteer work, service organizations, Greek life, student council, etc. And the nice thing about the general student orgs is that there's over 1,000. So there's definitely something for everybody. I am confident that you'll be able to find something you like. And in the off chance that you don't, the nice thing is you can start your own. I did that when I was in school. So definitely check that out. And then there's also Smeal specific student organizations at Penn State UP as well. So we have over 40 student orgs that are specific for business students and are specific, within the College of Business. So this might be service oriented, diversity business organizations. We have business fraternities, even major related organizations, general interest, etc. And a lot of times, so with all this information, a lot of times people ask me, how many student orgs should I plan to get involved in when I transition my junior year? And my advice for you is, if you can get involved in 3 student orgs at UP over the course of your junior and senior year, then I think you'd be in good shape. And as far as, let's say, those 3 go, I would say one of them should be a Smeal student organization, because you want to be able to show in your resume that, you are truly interested and passionate about, your major and your field of study. I think the next student organization should be something just interest related. Maybe it might be joining a magazine and writing for a magazine. Maybe it's athletics. Maybe it is Greek life, something like that. But I think that, an interest related activity on your resume just shows some of your personality. It enables somebody to get to know who you are when they're looking at it. So something to keep in mind. And then the third club or student org that I'd recommend you join would be something service oriented. So it really could be like a service oriented group. It could be volunteering in your local community, something in those different capacities. Maybe it's a service oriented trip that you take over spring break. But I think having that as well also reflects well, because it shows you're somebody who cares about your community and just generally thinks about other people. So again, 1 Smeal student org, 1 interest student org, and 1 volunteering student org, I think, is a good rule of thumb when you're transitioning to University Park. So this page on the screen is really just giving you some resources, some links that might be helpful, or that I think might be helpful for you. So when I was in school, I almost always had a job. That was something that I needed to do both personally and financially. So I know that a lot of students, when they transition from the Commonwealth campuses to UP, also need to get employed for whatever reason. So this is really just to give you some of those links ahead of time and give you a starting point. So if you want to take a screenshot, take a picture, let me know if you want me to email you this PowerPoint after, so you have the links. I'm happy to do that. But these are just websites that I think most students utilize when looking for jobs on campus. So the Human Resources job website is good in looking for internships that might be field related, like a marketing internship at Penn State, some other stuff that you could find within like specific colleges, doing research, etc. Student Affairs has really good job search resources if you want to join the police, IT, research assistants, again, internships, etc. Food Services if you want to work in the dining halls, Campus Rec if you want to maybe work in the gyms or be like a fitness coach for fitness classes, and then Residence Life if you want to maybe be an RA in the dorms. So these are just some resources for Penn State specific jobs. Of course, the campus is located in the State College community, so there's a lot of jobs available outside of campus, just generally speaking. So as if this is something that's applicable to you, that you're looking for a job, as you're doing that, just keep in mind, like I said, what type of position you're interested in. You also should be thinking about the type of experience and skill sets you want to be adding to diversify your resume. And then, of course, thinking about stuff personally speaking too. So like, how often do you need to be working? What type of balance can you have between school and work, etc. All right, so next step I have for you is create a Smeal resume. So the Smeal resume is really just a way to refer to this format that we strongly encourage our Smeal students to have within their resume. So you can see an example here in the blue box on the left. And the Smeal resume format is really just a way to structure the resume that makes the most out of the page, that brings forward the most important information that a recruiter is looking for, and organizes everything in a way that's easily read and digestible for somebody who's checking out your resume as a potential employee. So over the years, as we've had recruiters at Penn State, strongly looking for Penn State business students, they've given us some great feedback on what they look for in resumes. So what makes them put it in the yes pile versus the no pile, what they like or don't like to see on the page, what information they're looking for first versus what they don't really care about, which could go at the bottom maybe. And we've taken all of that feedback and we've created this resume. And our students who use it find a lot of success with it. They find it easy to use and organize. So by no means do you need to have your resume in this format. If you like your resume as is, then by all means, keep it how you like it. But if you're interested in maybe a new format or you're struggling to create one, then I would recommend using this one just because it's proven successful. So why mess with a good thing? And then as you are creating a resume and making sure that that's good to go before your junior year, like I said before earlier in the PowerPoint, there's so many resources that are available to you. So check out our website and you can find some samples, just sample resumes in their entirety. You can also find sample bullet points. You can find the downloadable format, so you can download it and plug all of your information in, which is super easy. And then there's good tips, videos, handouts, etc. Then I also strongly recommend that you also get your resume reviewed before you ever use it to apply for jobs. You can do that in the Altoona Career Services office. You can do that in the BCC. You could also do that at Penn State BOA. Regardless, I don't care who it's with, get it reviewed by a career services office because we have the expertise to be able to look for the details on the resume that your friends or family might overlook. We know exactly what to look for, what to check for, so that it's as strong as possible when you actually submit it for something. All right, so step number 4 is sign up for BA 297. So BA 297 is a 1-credit elective that's offered through Smeal to University Park students and students at the Commonwealth campuses. So this 1-credit elective is all about career planning and strategies. So the course is set up essentially in a not so fancy way to put it, to force you to do everything that you should be doing already to prepare for the junior and senior internship searches. So we go over a lot within the class. We talk about how to prepare for career fairs, how to attend them strategically. We talk about resumes and cover letters, how to interview, how to improve your interviewing skills, how to transition to the workplace, negotiate offers, build your personal brand, network, etc. You can check it all out there on the green box on the left. Really, we talk about anything and everything from a high to a very specific level of the career search process. And it's just meant to get all of this information to you so that when you start applying for jobs that you feel as prepared as possible to be successful. So this course is, like I said, available to University Park students and Commonwealth campus students. So if you are a freshman right now, you can take this during your second year at the Altoona campus. There's an online section that's asynchronous, so no live meeting times. And the class is specifically for first and second year Commonwealth campus students. And then if you are a sophomore right now, currently, the time has passed for you to take that specific course, but it's also available to you to take in person at the University Park campus as a junior or a senior. It's currently online right now. I'm really hoping that by the fall it's in person. So we'll have to see about that. But moral of the story is this class is available, whether you want to take it at UP or at your Commonwealth campus. It's offered in the fall and the spring as well. So you can plan ahead if you want to. But the nice thing about this class is that the lectures are created by Business Career Center career coaches and also by corporate partners. So the nice thing about this class is you're getting a career services perspective, which is helpful in preparing for things in the background, but then you're also getting the perspective of people who might potentially hire you in the future. So it's great insider information on what they're looking for in the job search process that will help you get in with their companies, which is nice. And then the class also has a lot of hands-on or reflective assignments. So you'll be creating a resume, creating a cover letter, practicing interviewing, doing an elevator pitch, etc. So it's just nice to get that practice for stuff that, like I said, you probably already want to be doing anyway. So might as well get an easy A for it. And then, yeah, so if you are interested in this class, in taking it as a current Commonwealth campus student, send me an email. We can make it work. And then if in the future you want to take it while you're at UP, then you can just sign up online path for that yourself. All right, so last tip I have for you, step 5 in preparing for your junior year and maximizing your first and second years is attend a career fair. So right now in this calendar year at Penn State, all of the career fairs are currently virtual. So it's been interesting. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I think most people are hoping that the career fairs go back to being in person in the future. So we'll see how it goes. But regardless of whether you attend virtually or in person, I want you to attend a career fair as a freshman or a sophomore. We'll go through the reasons for that. So number 1 is to discover potential opportunities. So what's great about going to the career fair as an underclassman is just learning about what you should be setting your sights on in the future. When I was an undergrad a few years ago, I was an education major. So I wasn't a business student. But as an education major, I wasn't going to be a teacher. So I didn't really know what career paths were available to me within education. So I had no idea what I could do. And going to the career fair and seeing what type of companies hire for my major, what types of companies, are not necessarily what I would be expecting, but, there might be potential for me there. It was a really, really good situation for information seeking. So I would just go see what's available for you as a junior or a senior. You might even find companies who are willing to hire freshmen and sophomores, and you can get a leg up in that way. But getting that firsthand information from recruiters as opposed to stuff you can find online is super helpful. And then number 2, learn how to become a highly qualified candidate. So my favorite question, and basically the biggest question that I recommend that freshmen and sophomores ask recruiters at the career fair is, how can I improve my resume to be as prepared as possible to apply for your internship and be, a highly qualified candidate? So they're able to give you some really great tips per company on what they're looking for, what they like to see on the resume, what you shouldn't necessarily worry about. And that information you definitely can't find online. That's all anecdotal. So if, maybe you're worried about your resume to some extent, you're not sure what types of experiences you should be doing to prepare yourself for specific companies, then I would go and just ask. Recruiters love that question as well. So you're never going to be bothering anybody. And then number 3, build and maintain professional relationships. So most of what people do these days is networking at career fairs. Back in the old days, people used to apply for positions directly at career fair booths, but we're lucky enough to live in the age of technology and we don't have to do that, which is amazing. So most of the time, actually the vast majority of the time, you will be applying for positions online. You're not going to be doing it at the career fair. So if that's the case, then one might ask, what the heck am I even doing at the career fair then if I'm not applying for jobs? And the answer really is getting information, but also networking, building those relationships and maintaining those relationships with people who might be hiring you in the future, or at least might be able to help push you along in an application process. So the nice thing about Penn State career fairs is that we typically see the same recruiters year after year. I know one company off the top of my head, Dick's Sporting Goods. The same recruiters come year after year because they work for Dick's Sporting Goods and they're Penn State alum. So they're like, anytime I can come back and see the old campus, I'm going to do it. So if you meet with Dave at Dick's Sporting Goods 2 years in a row, and then it's time for you the next year to apply for the internship program he's managing, then Dave is going to remember you. He's going to remember your conversations. He's going to remember the jokes you made. He's going to remember your resume. And if he likes you, he might push you along in the process. So as many different people as you can get to know, the better. As many different people as you can stay in contact with, the better, because having, those personal connections actually really, really does help in the job search process. I know a lot of students who have gotten interviews because they made such a good impression on somebody within the career fair. So something to think about. And then lastly, familiarize yourself with the environment. So this piece of advice is kind of wonky right now because this year's career fairs are virtual, and hopefully this is the last time we have to do virtual career fairs. So you might be learning a virtual career fair just to go back to in person. But regardless, the essence of the career fair is really the same from year to year. And that is that it's nerve wracking. You're talking to people, you're having to sell yourself, be charming, etc. And I think as comfortable as you can get with doing those things and as comfortable as you can get around recruiters, the better. Because once it comes time for your junior and senior years and you need to be performing really well, if you're not as nervous as other people, it's definitely going to show in your conversations. So all in all, my advice is career fairs are definitely good to do and go to when you don't necessarily have to. And if you are, let's say, a sophomore and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to go attend a career fair, but it's already week 6 and, I need to get this in. Or maybe you're a freshman that also wants to do this semester. Lucky for you, next week, Spring Career Days is being hosted at the University Park campus. It will be all online. It's all available to you to attend. So you can find that information on the Business Career Center website. And I'd recommend going, talking to as many employers as you can, and it should be a good experience for you. Okay, so wrapping it up here, my final piece of advice for you, just generally speaking about how to set yourself up for success for your junior and senior year career searches, is just to do your best. Applying for jobs is hard. I don't think anyone likes it. It's challenging, it's nerve-wracking, it's stressful, it's everything. And most of it is compiled by things that are not innate skills. Interviewing is not an innate skill. It's not an innate skill to sell yourself at a career fair. So the moral of the story is you just need to practice, put in your best effort and do all of these things proactively. And I think that when the time comes for you to be performing and the stakes are involved, the high stakes are involved, that you really will be okay. So follow these steps. If any of them or all of them are applicable to you and you feel so inclined, utilize your career resources. Reach out to me if you need anything at all. You have my email. You can find it everywhere, like I said, and I'm really happy to help in any way that I can. So we are wrapping up a little bit early, so I'll probably just be going to drop in hours early. So if you need anything and want to come in and ask questions, feel free to do that. You can also ask questions in the chat before you head out. But thanks for coming. Hope you're all doing well and just staying safe and healthy and hopefully as happy as you can be during these given crappy times. So have a good rest of your night or day.